This video has been made possible by Rebus Farm, the professional render service. Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, today we are going to talk about Arnold rendering in Maya 2017. Alright? Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I'm not a huge Arnold fan. I typically like to work with RenderMan or Mental Ray, but it seems that Arnold is here to stay, so we're going to check that out. We're going to look at some application of standard materials, we're going to set up some lighting, and we're going to look at refraction and reflection settings, okay? It's by no means an in-depth tutorial, but a first glance. Alright, so enjoy that. Here we go. Okay guys, well, as mentioned, I've been asked to talk a little bit about Arnold and how to use the Arnold renderer in Maya 2017. Now, I'm not typically an Arnold guy. I like Mental Ray very much. I work a little bit with RenderMan and some other renderers. But Arnold is here to stay, I think. It's a fact of life, so let's talk about it, okay? So, a couple of things we're going to do. We're going to set up a basic scene. We're going to apply some materials. We're going to set up some lighting. And we're also going to look at a couple of very important render settings in Arnold related to reflection and refraction. And to demonstrate that, we'll set up some glass material, okay? So what we're going to do first is just set up a really basic scene. I'm just going to take a polygon plane here, hit R to scale that out, like so. And then we'll take a polygon cube, we'll hit W to pull that up, R to scale that out, and let's make sure that's sitting on our grid, like so. And then we'll take a polygon sphere, and I'll hit 4 for wireframe mode so you can see it. It will be inside our cube. And let's scale that up a little, okay? All right, so this is our scene. Now, if I hit 5 for shaded mode, and I just simply jump into my render settings, I select Arnold as my main renderer, and I just simply click on IPR for a quick IPR render. Let's see what we get. And as you can see, we get absolutely nothing, okay? It's completely black for the simple reason that we have no lighting going on in our scene. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring this guy down to size, and we're going to go up to Arnold, and we're going to go to lights, and let's set up a a sky dome light, okay? Now as soon as we click that, you see that our render down here shows up because we now have lighting in our scene, and we can tweak that if we like. Now what it does is it by default creates this huge light dome around our object, okay? And I want to replace that with one of my own HDR files. So what I'm going to do is go to Window and Outliner, look for my sky dome light right there, go into my attribute editor, get this out of the way, and next to the color here we got this checkered box. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to select a file, go into the folder, and now I can select one of my own that I want to use. And let's see, I got this one that I use a lot for the simple reason that I like it. Arches National Park, there we go. I'm going to open that up, I'll give that a sec. As you can see, it's clearly visible here, and you can also see that it impacts our object down here in the IPR render, okay? Now that we have that, let's see if we can tweak this stuff here. Now, for my ground plane and my cube and my sphere, everything that I have used so far as material is concerned, are default Lamberts, okay? Just Maya Lamberts. Now, what you use most in Arnold is the standard material, and I'll show you. I'll select this floor, right-click, go to Assign New Material, click the Arnold tab, and here you have Arnold hair, you have some skin material, but I'm going to go with the AI standard, okay? This is kind of the default material, if you will, and I'll just make this a bit bigger so we can see that a bit better, like so. Okay, so we have some material applied to that floor there, and we can go in and tweak the settings as you would any other material. So you can, for example, go in here, you can change the color of the floor, anything you want. You can go in, you can change the specularity. So let's say you want to bump up the specular values of that floor plan, you can. Okay. You can bring down that specular color if you like. You can tweak the roughness and so forth. So basically the slider settings here for the standard material are pretty similar to what you would see in, let's say, a Lambert. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to leave this floor alone and we're going to concentrate on this cube here. Now what I want to do is make that ball or sphere inside visible. So for that purpose I need to change the material on the cube and I need to adjust the values to make it look like glass. Okay, and my intention is to create a situation where we have kind of a solid glass block with a sphere inside. Okay, so it's not a glass box, it's a glass block. All right, so we got that cube selected. We're gonna right click, assign new material, go to Arnold. Excuse me, I'm going to select the standard material and then I'm going to go in and tweak the settings. So I don't want any diffuse on this at all, so I'm just going to drag that down. There we go. I don't need that. I don't need weight on the diffuse either, so we're just going to bring that completely down. Now as far as specularity, I'm just going to leave that alone for now. Let's see, is that true? Actually, we are going to tweak it a little bit. We're going to set the specular weight to 0.05. Okay, and you can see that it's starting to become a little bit more shiny, if you will, right? And then we're going to set the roughness, instead of 0.4, we'll set that to 0.05 as well. And again, you can see that that makes our cube nice and shiny. Okay. Now, that means that although it's reflective, it's not letting light go through it just yet. So we need to tweak that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the reflection and refraction settings. Okay. Now in the refraction right here, I want the, let's see, the weight to be at 1. And as soon as we change that, you can see that immediately our sphere is visible and our glass block actually looks like glass. Okay. Now the next one is very, very important. The IOR, or index of refraction, is a value that can be found online. There are all sorts of charts where you can look up the index of refraction for, let's say, a plastic bottle, a block of glass, and so forth, and you know what kind of value you need to use. Now in this case, I'm going to go with 1.5 and adjust that. Now as soon as I do that, you can see that it's starting to look like a solid block of glass, as I mentioned. And we now have to do a couple of things to clean this up. So let's jump into that. Now, two things. One is that the settings to allow light to pass through are not set to the right values in the render settings. And the second one is that my object here is casting shadows. Okay, so what I need to do is make sure that I got my cube selected, and I'm gonna, let's try that again. There we go. I'm gonna go into my attribute editor. I'm gonna go to my polycube shape 1, and in the Arnold tab here, I'm gonna set the opaque off. Okay, and immediately you see that change going on there, right? Now I see that I didn't apply any material to my sphere here. So let's quickly do that. I'll just minimize this. I'll take my cube, hit Control H to hide it just for a sec. Select my sphere, right click, assign new material. Let's do an Arnold material. Let's do the standard. We'll go in, we'll change the color to red. And let's see, as far as, oh, sorry guys, that's the wrong one. The color in my diffuse to red, like so. And then let's see, we'll increase specularity a bit. Okay, I'm going to go back to display and show all. So we got everything back in our scene. And then let's reopen this guy. All right, so there we are. Okay, so we got rid of our shadows, and I'll just make sure that this is running okay. And the reason why it's acting a bit slow is because while I'm rendering this, I am also recording this video in high definition. So that's why that is a bit slow, okay? Now this looks a bit odd, but it's typically what you would see if you had an object placed in a solid block of glass. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our render settings, and let's see, we're going to go into, yeah, there we go. I think it's this one. Yeah, it is. So we have our Arnold render selected. We got a bunch of tabs here: Common, Arnold render, System, and so forth. Let's act as if we are going to do a full render here. Excuse me. All right. So in our Common tab, let's set the size that we want for our render to, I don't know, HD 1080. That's fine, which gives us a 1920 by 1080 image size. Let's see, I'll leave all of that stuff alone. We'll go into our Arnold renderer. And that one is quite important, because if we go to rate depth and we go down here, you can see that we have values for reflection and refraction, and these are very important for this particular scene. Okay, reflection is light reflecting off a surface, and refraction is light going through a surface. Now if you have multiple layers, in this case for example the glass in the front and the glass in the back, that will be passing through the glass and hitting our object in the center. Okay, if you would have multiple planes of glass behind each other, you have to increase that value so that the light will go through and through and through. That's kind of the idea. Okay, so what we're going to simply do is we're going to increase the reflection value to 4, and for the reflection point of view, that's not the most important part, but we are going to set, let's do the refraction to 6 or so. You can see it's adjusting. It's a kind of subtle difference here. If we wanted to have a very clear demonstration of how this works, I would have multiple glass planes, but I hope you understand what I'm telling you guys. Okay, so that is basically what this is, guys. Like I said, a first introduction to Arnold, just to get a global understanding of how that works. And if you want me to do more in-depth tutorials on Arnold, please let me know in the comments section and I will dive into that. Like I said, I'm not typically an Arnold guy, but if you guys want me to do that, just let me know and I will. Okay, so that's all there's to it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.